Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And as you can already tell from the title, surprise, I am pregnant. That sounds so weird, like you don't even know, it sounds so crazy to me. Like it still hasn't sunk in that I'm pregnant with baby number 4. Like that's so insane. Oh my goodness, so where do I begin? I don't even know. Yeah, so I am currently 20 weeks pregnant and I'm pretty much halfway through my pregnancy. Like, no, I'm not pretty much halfway through my pregnancy. I am officially halfway through my pregnancy. That is so crazy. Like, I cannot even believe this. So I guess we're just gonna go ahead and just start from the beginning. This is just gonna be my pretty much 20-week update, a recap of my first trimester, why I waited so long to say something, to post that I was pregnant, which is pretty much the main reason why I haven't put out any videos, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So I have my little notebook here with all my notes, and yeah, so if you don't know, I did end up moving from New York to Florida back in June. We booked our flight like a week before we came, and yeah, so it was pretty much 3 days before my flight. I had to drop my boyfriend off at work, and he works about 20 minutes away from where we used to live. And then I also had to drop my daughter off at school, which was like another 20 minutes away from where we live. So that particular morning, there was so much traffic. I guess there was a really bad accident or something, but there was so much traffic. So I dropped him off and I was on my way to take my daughter to school, and I'm driving, and all of a sudden I get super nauseous. I had to like pull over and compose myself, because if I didn't pull over, I was just gonna puke all over the windshield, and that just wouldn't have been good. So I went ahead and I pulled over, took care of business, and I get back in the car and I start driving, and I'm just like, wow, that's really strange, because there's a difference between feeling nauseous and being car sick. Well, at least for me it is. The nauseous that I felt was the car sick, like I was getting car sick. And that only happens when I'm pregnant. So I was technically a week late on my period, but in the midst of me flying with the 2 toddlers, without my boyfriend, with a whole bunch of luggages, 2 car seats, a stroller, a playpen, like I had to do all that by myself. Meanwhile, go to a brand new state by myself. My daughter was gonna be staying behind with her father for the summer, so I was like super stressed out. Then the big move all in itself, like moving is stressful. I was super stressed out. I just did not think that I was pregnant. It didn't cross my mind. The thought of me throwing up and me being car sick, I was like, that only happens when I'm pregnant. I'm like, that's weird. But I still didn't think that I was pregnant. You know, sometimes it's like, oh man, I might be pregnant. I was like, no, that didn't even cross my mind. Prior to that, you know, me and my boyfriend, we were being super careful. We used condoms, don't do birth control or anything. Well, we didn't. That's gonna happen after this baby, but that's besides the point. But so I dropped my daughter off at school, and my grandmother and my aunt, they live together. They live right around the corner from the school, and in the middle between the school and her house, there's a Dollar Tree. So I'm like, you know what, let me stop at Dollar Tree and just pick up a pregnancy test. It's $1 for shits and giggles, because I don't want to waste money on an expensive pregnancy test, because I already know that I'm not pregnant. So I stopped at Dollar Tree, picked that up, went to my aunt's house, talked to her for a while. My grandmother was still sleeping. Talked to her, kind of just told her to keep an eye out on the kids. I was gonna go upstairs and use the bathroom. Didn't tell her anything about me being sick or anything like that. So I go upstairs, I use the bathroom, take the test, put the test to the side. You know, you gotta wait a couple of minutes. So I'm over here like plucking my eyebrows, like looking in the mirror, you know, kind of just like nonchalant anything. So a couple of minutes passed by and I looked down at the test, and as clear as day, the 2 lines show up. Like, you know how sometimes when you're pregnant, like newly pregnant, the line is faint, the second line? This line was so bright. Like, I was like, there's no way. I said there's no way about 50 times before I got out of shock and called my boyfriend. So I call him on FaceTime and he's just like, oh, hey babe. And I'm just like, with a blank stare, and he's just like, what's wrong? Are you okay? What's wrong? And I just point the phone down to the pregnancy test. And then he looks and he's just like, oh man. Like, he's just like, wait, are you serious? And I'm just like, there's no way, right? There's no way, right? Like, I kept saying that for like another 10 times. And then he's just like, oh man. He's like, wow, babe. He's like, you're gonna have 4 kids. Like, he was a lot more like yay than I was. For me, I had some insecurities about, you know, my body and the way that I looked. So although we talked about baby number 4 in the future, I knew for myself that I didn't want to have baby number 4 until I lost some weight, just to get over my insecurities. Because as a athlete, well, as a, you know, high school athlete and all my life athlete, I've never been this big or heavy. So for myself, I knew that I needed to lose weight before I got pregnant, but you know, God had other plans. So he was like a little bit more like, oh, yay. And I was just like, no, like I was a little upset, you know, not upset, you know, this baby is a blessing. I thank God for the baby. I'm super excited, but I just knew in my head that I wasn't ready for it. So, you know, that hung up with him. Well, told him on his way home to go to the drugstore and pick up like a real pregnancy test. That's exactly what I told him. He's like, babe, you just took a real pregnancy. I'm like, no, this is from Dollar Tree. It could be wrong. He's like, but didn't you say that you were late on your period? And I'm just like, well, yeah, but no, like this is probably wrong. Like, I'm just super stressed. So I was clearly in denial, but he picked up the first response test, and when he came home, I took that, and sure enough, it said pregnant. So I was pregnant, and again, that was 3 days before my flight. So I called my midwife in New York to try and get an appointment, but they didn't have any appointments, which I pretty much knew, because that place is like so popular, and they just never have like new appointments. You have to wait like a month. So that happened, found out I was pregnant. 3 days later, got on my flight, left, and things were going good when I first got here. I stayed with my sister-in-law for about a month and a week, something like that. So because our move-in date to our apartment wasn't until July something. So the first 2 days were fine. After those 2 days, it just went downhill. I was throwing up so much, like so much. I threw up probably 4 to 5 times a day, mostly after I ate, but then there was like 2 other times in between that time. I threw up food, I threw up liquids, like I couldn't keep anything down. I was throwing up liquids, I was throwing up my vitamins, like I was just puking my brains out. Once I got here, my insurance from New York did not work here. I couldn't use it here, and throwing up in pregnancy isn't really an emergency, so I couldn't get an appointment without me having to pay out of pocket. So I actually didn't even see the doctor. I don't even think I saw a doctor in my first trimester at all. I ended up walking, and I didn't have my car when I got here. The car got shipped to me later on. My sister-in-law doesn't have a car, so it was just not a good situation, I guess you can say. And I was able to go ahead and apply for emergency Medicaid, but doing that, I got insurance, but no pregnancy place, no OB around where in walking distance, took just straight Medicaid. So I still couldn't see the doctor. So after that, after a couple of weeks, after like 3 weeks, I started throwing up more and more and more, and I actually started throwing up blood. Now, it wasn't like dark blood, it was like light blood. And with me, when I get pregnant, my gums automatically get super sensitive. They bleed like there's no tomorrow. Like, it sucks, but that's just what happens to me when I'm pregnant. So that time that the first time that I threw up blood, I figured, when I looked in the mirror, my gums were bleeding. So I just figured it was just blood from my gums bleeding. Well, a week later, it happened again. And so I went to like a walk-in clinic. Again, I had to pay out of pocket. At first, they wanted to charge me for blood work and sonogram and all this. And I was just like, no. Listen, I don't need blood work to tell me that I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. I know that I'm pregnant. I haven't gotten my period. It's been a month already. So I know that I'm pregnant. Just give me the sonogram. I had to pay like $110 for the sonogram. And they did the sonogram and they found the heartbeat. Did they find a heartbeat? I don't know, but they did a sonogram. They confirmed the pregnancy through the sonogram. And they also looked around to see if I had any bleeding, which I didn't. Okay, so that was fine. So they didn't even give me anything. The only thing they gave me was a receipt, which is so weird. Yeah, that was just whatever. So after that, a week later, still throwing up, a week later, I moved here. I had to lose about 10 to 15 pounds prior to going to the doctor. So when I moved in my apartment here, it was about 5 days had passed since being in the apartment where I am now, and I started throwing up blood again. And this time it was just a little bit more. My gums were not bleeding at the time, so I rushed to urgent care because I didn't want to go to the emergency room, which probably would have made more sense. But I had my 2 kids with me, and it just, who's gonna watch them if I'm in the emergency room, So I went to urgent care, and they did confirm that I did lose like a lot of weight because I told them my pre-pregnancy weight. So I did lose about 10 pounds, but my pre-pregnancy weight was around about, because it was like a month prior to when I found out I was pregnant, how much I weighed. So I actually took a picture of when I threw up and there was blood in the throw up or whatever. So I took a picture of it and I showed it to the urgent care doctor, and she was just like, you probably are rupturing your esophagus, and that's what's causing the bleeding. So she's like, that's perfectly, she's like, it's not normal, but it's normal type of situation. She said that if the blood was darker, almost kind of like brown, then I should be really concerned. So that kind of put my mind at ease. And then they went ahead and prescribed some Zofran, which I actually had to take with my daughter as well in my previous pregnancy because I was throwing up a whole lot with her as well. So they prescribed some Zofran and...
Hold on, I want a break. Try to some breath.
Ooh, okay. So they prescribed the Zofran, and so much better. I was so much better after I got prescribed the Zofran, and I had to take it pretty much every 8 hours because no matter what, they don't recommend you taking it unless you absolutely have to. But if I didn't take it, the nausea came right back. And I tried everything with the nausea. I tried ginger ale, I've tried ginger snaps, I tried ginger suckers, anything ginger. I slept with crackers by my bed and ate the crackers before I even got out of bed in the morning, and still nothing. Tried to drink as much water as I could, but I wasn't keeping liquids down either, so I had to take the Zofran. So I actually got insurance like the next week, but I had to wait to find a doctor. That's like a whole nother story. Anyway, so I finally went to the doctor, and again, they confirmed the pregnancy, they did the pap smear and all that other fun stuff and measured the baby. And we heard the heartbeat, and that was fun. And then they scheduled my sonogram for this week. Well, my sonogram, they scheduled it today, which I went for my sonogram, and that was amazing because anytime you can see your baby and see how big it's gotten and all that good stuff is just amazing. So that was what my appointment was today. That was fun. The baby was like, I feel like this baby is like such a character already because the baby kept closing its legs like every time she went to find out the gender. And originally I didn't want to know the gender of the baby. And then my boyfriend wanted to know the gender of the baby. So then I was just like, whatever, I'll just find out the gender of the baby. But when I was there today, the baby kept closing its legs, like turning over. It was like doing somersaults. Like it was just going around in circles. It was so crazy. So like the baby was so hyper, and that's like the most the baby moved since me being able to feel the baby move, which is so hilarious. And then so she couldn't find the baby. She couldn't check to see what it was anyway. So then I was just like, you know what? Forget it. It's fine. I didn't want to know anyway. You know, you're kind of hurting me because, you know, they kind of press down on your belly with the, what is the thing called? Probe? Yeah, I think it's called the probe. They pressed down and she was kind of trying to shake it and then turn the baby back around because the baby had went and all you see is the back. Like it was just doing so many things. And then at the end, as she's looking, the baby put its hand up by its face and it just looks like as if it's waving or saying ha, like, you know how you think in your head, like they're like, you couldn't do it, like, hey, here I am. But I had already was just like, no, just forget it. I actually have pictures of the baby. Here is the first picture. You can see. So there's the baby's head over here, and then there's the body. So sweet, my little nugget. And I call the baby Baby A. And then here's a picture of the baby like waving. So funny. All right, so here is the picture of the baby waving. How cute is that? Like, how funny is that? So funny. So let me just point it out just in case, but this is the baby's head over here and then that's the hand. Like, how funny. I just thought it was the funniest thing, the cutest thing ever. But yeah, so I am 20 weeks today. The shortness of breath is real. Pregnancy brain is real. I don't know when I'm gonna get more energy during the second trimester, but that hasn't kicked in yet. Restless leg syndrome is real. One thing that I did start doing last week was go to the gym because I heard that, you know, it would give me more energy. So I did start going to the gym last week. I do about 45 minutes to an hour of like cardio and leg workouts. Probably when I go back this week, I'll start working out like a little bit of weights on my arms because I was told I can, you know, lift like 20 pounds. Like not lift, but you know, those, I don't know what this is called. I just know the machine. That's what I'm gonna do. She said I can do like 20 pounds on there. And that's actually been helping me sleep through the night. Because before that, I have not slept through the night in years. And now that I'm working out, it's allowing me to actually sleep through the night. I haven't gotten any more energy. I actually want to take a nap during the day now. But I mean, I feel good. I have to get up at 6 in the morning to get my daughter ready for school. We drop her off at the bus stop, so we go right after I drop her off by 7:30, I want to say. So we're there until about 8:30. Me and the 2 toddlers, so I mean, that's fine. And let's see, what else have I been feeling? I feel the baby move. Normally the baby doesn't move like as much, more so at night, but still not as much as my other 3. like none of them. My last two moved the most, and my first, she moved quite a bit too, and they all moved the most at night. And it's not just because, oh, during the day you're doing things, and no, they all moved so much all night, like all night. My youngest is so funny because I told her, you know, we told her that there's a baby in mommy's belly, so every now and then she'll come over and she'll pick up my shirt and she'll just be like, baby, baby. She's mostly pointing at my belly button because I do have an outie, so my belly button has now, it sticks all the way out. But it's so cute seeing her. My son wants a baby brother, which we are shooting for. We have 2 girls and a boy, so obviously we kind of would want another boy so that he can have a brother. And we actually have 2 names picked out for the baby. Well, we have 2 names, one for a girl and one for a boy. My oldest is Ariana. My son's name is Avery. Let's not comment about it, because if you do your research, Avery is a boy's name, which has been taken over by girls in the last couple of years. So before you comment on my son's name, it is a boy's name, and it's just been used as girls' names now. And his name was really hard coming up with, and I love Jackson Avery. You know, Grey's Anatomy, all my Grey's Anatomy people, you guys know who I'm talking about. So yeah, his name is Avery. And my youngest daughter is Elena with an A. So they're all A's, and I'm Angela, so another A. So this baby's name, the 2 names that we have picked out do both start with an A. And they're pretty much set in stone. So I'm not gonna say the name of the baby just until, obviously until the baby is born. I'm just gonna keep that private until the baby is born, until we know the sex of the baby, and then I'll announce the baby's name. There's also like a 3rd name. I don't know if I mentioned this on the 10 baby names I love but wouldn't use, but I love the name Kehlani for a girl. I just think it's such a pretty name. It doesn't start with an A, which I don't mind, sort of. Like, I feel like this baby will be left out if I don't name it with an A, but I really love that name. My boyfriend was like, not really, but then he's like, oh, you know, it's a nice name. So now I'm like, you know, it's not totally out of the running, but I mean, for the girl's name, we do have like a name, and the middle name of the girl's name is not sure. It's either we would use Michelle as the middle name, or the baby just won't have a middle name if it's a girl. So that's the only thing that we're on the fence about. Is that it? I think that's pretty much it. So I will be posting weekly bump dates, if that's what you call them, weekly pregnancy updates. I am gonna go ahead and post that. I'm gonna try and post some more mommy related videos. What else? I'll obviously be filming what's in my hospital bag when the time is near. Yeah, and all that good stuff. But that is pretty much it for this video. I will go ahead and show you guys my belly. So I'll be doing weekly belly shots. And in actuality, this is the biggest I've been with all 3 children at this point in time. Like by 20 weeks, like you still didn't even notice I was pregnant with my other 3 pregnancies. So I am by far the biggest right now. I'm pretty sure that this is it for us. I mean, I feel like if it's not a boy, then there might be baby number 5 in the future. Like we'd shoot for baby number 5, but like years down the line, like at least 3 years, like there's no way I can be pregnant again right after this. Like there's just no way. So yeah, so I feel like if it's not a boy and it's another girl, I feel like we might want to shoot again for a boy. But then it's like, well, what if it's another girl, like the 5th baby? Then what? I'm not having no more than 5 kids. Like that is it. That is no more, none. And I'm already like asking the doctor about tying my tubes now, but I probably wouldn't do that. But in any case, I'm thinking that we're done. My boyfriend, I was talking to him the other day, and he's just like, I'm so over being pregnant. I'm only 20. Well, I was only like 19 weeks, and then he's just like, oh, it's all right, man. You're doing great, encouraging me. And I'm just like, oh, that's it, no more. And he's like, yeah, no more for now. And I'm just like, what? And he's just like, well, maybe down the line we might want. I'm like, listen, you're gonna have 3 biological kids. Is that not enough? If you didn't get that, my oldest is not his daughter biologically. But yeah, he's just like, and like sometimes how men like kind of play, but he wasn't playing, so I gotta be careful with that one, because he might try something. No, just kidding. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my belly shots now, and that's it for this video. So stay tuned for next week's video. Oh, wait, hold on. My weeks change on Wednesdays, so I'm either gonna film the videos on Tuesdays and post them on Wednesday, or film them on Wednesday and post them on Thursday, because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to film them on Wednesday and be able to post it on Wednesday. Well, I'll try, because that makes the most sense. I mean, probably after this week I can probably do that, because the video won't be so long in the future, unless I have something going on or anything like that. So I'm gonna try to post it on Wednesdays, but somewhere between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So yeah, so go ahead and show you guys my belly shot. Okay, so here is my belly with a shirt / dress on from the front. There's my belly from the side, and there's the belly from the left side. And I do have shorts on underneath this dress, so I'm just gonna pull this up. Here is my belly with my shirt up from the front. Nice little round. I feel like it's round, but then I don't know. I can never tell these things. And again, I do have an outie, so now my belly button is pushed all the way out. Probably by the time I give birth, it'll be flat and I won't have a belly button at all. This is my belly from the right side. And then from the left side. Oh yeah, and one more thing. So the baby is 13 ounces and I think she said 10.5 inches. So yeah, inches long. So that is pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for this new journey. Mommy of 4 kids. 4. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up and stay tuned for my next pregnancy video that will be up next week. Bye, guys.